Good morning. So, why am I addicted to that? Came up in the last week. So we actually did a Q&A yesterday on this, all about sugar addiction. And if you look at the research, it's quite interesting, and it's often compared to drug addiction, right? So you see, newspaper articles saying sugar is addictive as cocaine, and what you see in the research is this isn't quite true, because when they give people more and more access to these sugar, or is it really sugar? More on that another day. But if you think about what we think about when we say we're addicted to sugar, it's actually sugar and fat, right? Because it's like cake. Cake isn't just sugar. Cake is sugar and fat together. Totally different thing. But there's no secret that it does have pleasure signals in our brain, and it does make us feel good. Absolutely. But what we find is and started in rodent studies, but when you give people, or rodents, if you like, abundant access, like ad libitum, they can have as much as they want. They actually, initially they might eat quite a lot of it, and then it kind of evens out a bit. It becomes less of a addictive-like behaviors. But how they create addictive-like behaviors in the first place is by giving it to them and then completely taking it away. And then what they do, when they add it back, all of a sudden, they are very irrational with it, and they'll eat more and more of it. Their calorie intake goes up. And this is quite similar to what you see in what the research literature calls restrained eaters. So there's something called the Last Supper effect. And this essentially explains what happens before people who like to maybe deprive themselves do before going on a diet. So let's say you're about to join Fruci, say, and we spoke today, and we said, right, we're going to start next week. If you thought, which is wrong by the way, that we were going to say you cannot eat any of this, you've got to stop your social events, you've got to stop this. What people tend to do in these studies is then between that time would then eat more and gain weight. So between the time of saying, yes, I'm going to do this, and the time of starting, they gain weight during this time. And this can actually skew a lot of results in research, because when they actually start, they're heavier than they were a week ago, because they've overeaten for the week, which is fascinating. And what they showed is people who were told that they were going to have to diet on a low-calorie diet after this cookie tasting that they were doing in this study ate more cookies. People who weren't told, who were told that basically they don't have to diet after this cookie. So when you were told that after this cookie tasting, you're not going to go on a low-calorie diet, people ate less. When you were told that you were going to go on a low-calorie diet straight after this cookie tasting, people ate more cookies. And the reason that's significant is if you feel you struggle with those types of foods, is it because we put these foods on a pedestal? Is it because sometimes we restrict them and feel so bad when we have them, and we try not to have them, when actually maybe including them in could at certain points actually be a quote unquote healing strategy a little bit, to actually have them as part of our plan. And even if you overeat them, rather than then restrict, which feeds into this, what the research is showing about that feeding into addictive-like behaviors, and rather than restrict completely, we go, right, tomorrow I'll just aim to have 2 again. If I have 10, fine. The day after, I'll just aim to have 2 again. If I have 10, fine. Don't beat yourself up. I've chosen to do it. Day after, I'll try and have 2 again. It's an interesting one. And what the research kind of shows, after a while, people just kind of level it out on that. They're a lot more in control. One to think about today, and I hope that gets you even thinking at the very least. And just know that we have complete permission to eat the foods that we want to eat. That we have unconditional permission to do that, and that we're adults, right? We can make choices. So you might choose. For me, sometimes I'll make the decision if I'm really trying to get quite lean, and I'm like, right, yeah, I'll go right. I'm only going to have 0% yogurt instead of different types of yogurts, full fat, but I'm also going to avoid peanut butter because when I have peanut butter or like porridge or something like that, it sounds odd because these are like quite healthy foods, but they actually make me hungrier and I find I want to eat more. That's just me. And I might just limit these a bit because they actually make me eat more. Whereas if I have something like 0% Greek yogurt, things like whey protein, omelets, eggs based foods, they keep me a lot fuller and more satisfied for longer. So wanted to share that today. We did the full Q&A last night, which was interesting. I hope everyone found that helpful. Any questions, let me know, and I will see you soon. How are we doing, Yolanda? Hope you're all good. Any questions, let me know, and I'll see you soon.